What you are about to hear is not just the story of a lost championship. It is the story of a turning point. At the midpoint of the 2025 season, almost no one believed this was possible. Oscar Piastri was not just leading the championship, he was controlling it. After the Dutch Grand Prix, the Australian had built a staggering 34-point lead. Cold, precise, relentless. Looked like a veteran, not a driver in only his third year in Formula One. At that moment, the title seemed untouchable. But Formula One has a brutal habit of reminding everyone that nothing is decided until the checkered flag falls in Abu Dhabi. And what happened next was shocking. The shift was sudden and violent. From clear favorite, Piastri's form began to collapse, especially during the American rounds. This wasn't just a loss of pace. The connection between driver and car seemed broken, and perhaps even more worrying, the connection between driver and team. While Lando Norris grew stronger with every race, Piastri looked increasingly lost. A driver known for his calm, almost icy composure suddenly had no answers. That raised a serious question. Was this simply pressure? Or did something much bigger happen inside McLaren? To understand the collapse, we need to look inside the Papaya garage. All season long, McLaren spoke proudly about their so-called Papaya Rules. Equal treatment. No number one driver, absolute fairness. But anyone who understands racing could see the imbalance. The seeds of distrust were planted early, in Australia and later in Imola. At key moments, strategic calls consistently protected Norris's side of the garage, while Piastri was left exposed to rivals. Each decision, on its own, seemed small. Together, they created a dangerous atmosphere. The tension peaked in Hungary, a deeply uncomfortable victory, filled with awkward radio messages and forced apologies. A moment that made one thing clear: internal management was slipping. When a driver starts to feel that his own team is no longer his fortress, confidence collapses. And from that moment on, Piastri began to question whether he truly had a championship future there. Then came Monza. If there is a single moment where the title slipped away, it is the Italian Grand Prix. Monza was not just a bad race, it was a psychological blow. The team order was direct and brutal. Oscar Piastri was told to give second place back to Lando Norris. On paper, it looked minor. In reality, it sent a devastating message. You are not the priority. Piastri obeyed, but his radio response said everything. That order didn't just cost points. It shattered the belief that the team would fight for him when it truly mattered. What followed was what Piastri himself later described as a perfect storm. Trying to recover what strategy had taken from him, he began to over-push. Crashes in Baku practice, the first lap incident and confusion in Singapore wasn't a lack of talent. It was frustration leaking into execution. Naturally, the Formula One market reacted. That's when the most explosive rumor of the season gained real traction. Oscar Piastri to Red Bull. But this is where emotion must give way to logic. Does a Red Bull move actually make sense right now? This is not the dominant Red Bull of 2 years ago. They are heading into 2026 with a completely new power unit built with Ford under brand new regulations. It is uncharted territory. Leaving a proven, fast McLaren for a technical gamble would be a massive risk, possibly career-defining in the wrong way. And then there's the human factor. At Red Bull, Piastri would face one of two realities: become Verstappen's support driver, place Max himself, carrying the impossible weight of leading a team in transition. Meanwhile, McLaren offers stability, a Mercedes power unit, their leadership, and arguably the fastest car on the grid. Walking away now, driven by anger, cost him the most important years of his career. Everything is placed on the scale. The conclusion is clear. As painful as it is, the smartest move for Oscar Piastri is to stay and fight. He is only in his third season, still developing race management, still refining tire control. Even with questionable team calls, He proved he has the speed to challenge Norris and Verstappen on merit. McLaren remains his sharpest weapon before the 2026 reset reshuffles everything. Leaving now would be an emotional reaction. And Formula One never forgives decisions made with the heart instead of the head. History is full of elite talents who switched teams at the wrong moment and vanished. Staying does not mean accepting second driver status. It means using the best car available to prove, on the stopwatch, who deserves to lead. Lower the visor, swallow the frustration, and drive faster than everyone else. Because Formula One is chess at 300 kilometers per hour. Oscar Piastri stands at a crossroads that defines careers. On one side, the bitterness of being sidelined at key moments. On the other, the dangerous temptation of an uncertain future. Talent like his is too great to be wasted on the wrong bet. Now I want to hear from you. If you were Oscar Piastri, would you stay and fight at McLaren? Or risk everything on a Red Bull future? Tell me in the comments.